Well, hello, Tim Moss.
Hello, Wendy Stuart. How are you?
Oh, what a day we're having already, Tim Moss.
Mercury is truly in retrograde, isn't it?
It is retrograde. How is everybody out there? Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. And let me tell you, today these walls are talking and then some. I mean, between the hurricane in Florida, electrical outages, I don't know what's going on.
Well, firstly, we just want to say that our guest, because I know some people may have tuned in for Stacey Toy.
Yes.
She is in Florida in the middle of the hurricane, lost power and unable to do it. So we have a wonderful guest who filled in at the last minute. I cannot wait to sit down and talk with him. He is so cool.
And he's out of Boston, so he's not in the middle of a hurricane.
Exactly. No hurricanes there today.
No worries. But Tim, my gosh, like just everything in the last 24 to 36 hours. What could go wrong, did go wrong, rescheduling.
And all my computers and iPads and
iPads. And and we broadcast from Pangea, and I came in and Steve Shanigan, who's one of the owners, he said, I'm like, don't even ask. He said, don't even ask. He said, the lights weren't working. He's like, please test your computer and let me make sure.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's just crazy. I tell you, as soon as this is all over today, Tim, I'm going to go buy some sage, go back into my apartment, sage it, dance naked with a chicken in the moonlight, and get under the covers. That sounds good, doesn't it?
I hear you. I totally hear you.
Listen, I want to give a shout out before we start. We broadcast from Pangea last night. We have a once a month show here from Kobe Cole, right? It's called Nouveau Riche. I have to tell you, consistently, every performer last night, and I'm not just saying this because both Tim and I go to lots of shows and see lots of talent. Every single person, I mean, Broadway caliber, and some of them were brand new. It was really unbelievable. And I put this out there. Agents and managers who are running around to all of these various showcases, save your car fare. You need to come to Nouveau Riche once a month. I swear by it, and you will too.
I know. I love it. And Kobe's so amazing. And the thing with Kobe Cole is he just attracts amazing talent. He's just got so much incredible talent around him. I just love it.
Tim, he puts a show together, and then at the 11th hour, someone will stroll through the door and just blow you out of the freaking water because they heard he was doing it. And I you know what, that is a true talent. Kobe Cole is a talent magnet, incredibly talented himself, and he seems to just draw those people in.
Absolutely.
So Tim, how are you? How are you?
I'm good. I had a busy week, really busy, running here and there and everywhere. And last Friday, Nick Lyon, Icavelli, Cicely Williams, and several other people, Jesse Luttrell, several other people had went to see my dear friend Dorothy Bishop's Dozen Divas show.
Amazing.
I could never seen it, and I was like, girl, you've got to come and see the show.
Well, she is a man. She was actually here last night. I adore her.
She's so incredible. But to see her show on stage, she performs. She does 12 at least 12 divas on stage, and she changes in front of you. It takes one wig off, puts another wig off, takes one outfit and puts it on, turns around, and she's Streisand. And then she'll turn around and she's Shirley Bassey.
She totally becomes.
She's Stevie Nicks, and hysterical.
Yeah, she is really
on the floor rolling.
She did a duet with Michael Musto here last night.
Yeah.
Okay, and she was Barbara Streisand.
Yes.
In the duet, and oh my God, he played one of the pop male characters.
Neil Diamond.
Thank you. The two of them together on that stage. It's up on my Facebook page, Wendy Stuart. It was hilarious. It was talented to the umpteenth, and also hilarious. And of course, you know, she was crossing her eyes like Streisand did.
Yes, right.
You want? I mean, my God, you know.
Yeah, she's great. So we had a wonderful night on Friday. Sunday, I had a memorial that I had to go to, which was for my dear friend Jack DeVille, who is a playwright, a theater director, theater actor. He was just a brilliant guy that I've known for years and worked with him for years. And he had organized these two different things in his life, which was Words and Wine and Fact, which was Friends always, what is it? Creating theater.
I love that. Fact.
And so it was all playwrights and actors, where he would bring playwrights and actors together, where the playwrights could hear their new material. And I did that for years with him. And so we had a words, and then there would be wine set out, and so everybody would drink wine, which is called Words and Wine. So we had a Words and Wine memorial for him. And we read, I think, 6 of his plays, of his short plays.
How cool.
We had a ball, and I could hear him laughing. Right. His presence was there, and we just had such a wonderful time reviewing his life and talking. And I mean, we laughed, we cried, we read his stories. It was just such a perfect send-off for Jack DeVille. It was
beautiful tribute to your friends, you know.
And then I had to leave there to go over to the Upper East Side, of course, for another event, which my good friend Christy Miller,
Christy Miller, yay,
the foul-mouthed comedian, she was recording her next album at comic strip on the Upper East Side. So I went over there and was in the audience for her recording, which it was absolutely hysterical. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
She's so funny. Now, you know why I wasn't at the Dorothy Bishop show at the Triad with you.
You were in Pennsylvania, right?
No, I was with Prince Albert of Monaco.
Oh, okay.
With dinner. The whole 9 yards. We did Climate Week at the Explorers Club, and Monaco is very much behind this race that we're having around the world with blimps to bring the world together. These are these giant airships, and a lot of the countries are jumping on board. Why are we doing this? Well, you remember, like, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Right. We're using blimps. Okay. Great for the environment and great to bring everybody together. And bless the Principality of Monaco and Prince Albert. What a wonderful group of people. And I give the tours at the Explorers Club, and it was so great just to show the club off to them. But the best part was introducing myself. So Prince Albert, of course, is a prince. There was someone with him she said, I'm the Contessa. And it was I almost introduced myself with my imperial court name. Oh, hello. I'm Countess Wendy Darling, but you can call me Discountess Wendy Darling. But you know what? I don't know. I thought they may not get my joke, you know, and everyone's French.
Right.
You want to be really right. They might not get it. It could get lost.
They would take it seriously.
Right. So there you go. But
that's wonderful.
We're moving.
Yeah, exactly. But firstly, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss. And we will be right back with our wonderful and amazing guest, Mr. Gary Leavitt.
Gary Leavitt.
All right. Wendy, take it away.
Gary Leavitt. Normally, I write these very elaborate introductions. But first of all, I want to say, bless you, Gary Leavitt. You jumped in at the 11th hour. And because you're a pro, you're a person we could count on to jump in on the 11th hour. And where have you been all our lives? I'm just meeting you for the first time. You are a podcaster, a celebrity interviewer. My God, you do animated voices. You do voices of celebrities. You have a podcast with your brother, Keith. And I'm just so excited to hear you also have a book that is really addressing an issue that we have to talk about. And it seems like such a beautiful thing. You know what? You're going to tell us more. You are a rock star. Everybody, welcome Gary Leavitt. Yay!
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me, Tim. And thank you for having me, Wendy.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being here today.
Well, This is going to be a lot of fun. I love listening to your intro. You guys got it. I love the energy, and I see that you can engage an audience. And Wendy, you're a very beautiful woman. And Tim, you're not so bad yourself. I love the beard, man.
Tim is a very good-looking guy. Now, Gary, I love that you dressed up to come here today.
Yeah, I did.
Your shirt. Tell us about your shirt. Show us your shirt.
All right. Let's see. That is officially the, see if I can pull it to the right angle. There we go.
There you go.
That is Iron Man. That's Tony Stark. Yeah. I've got the Tony Stark glasses. When I taught in school, a lot of my students used to call me Mr. Stark as opposed to Mr. Leavitt.
Oh, you're kidding.
And of course, this tank top was gifted to me by my students.
I love that.
I love it.
Now, and from what I understand, a lot of times your students are always returning to you. Like
they do. It's kind of funny. I stopped teaching, and since the spring of this year, when I did stop, actually over the summer, I should say, I've had numerous kids reach out to me on different social media to say, hey, we're sorry you're not coming back. But obviously I'm pursuing the entertainment world. And obviously you need to do what's going to be best for the family as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what's best for your head? I would imagine like the last 2 years of teaching, you were on Zoom a lot. It's been, other teachers, I know it's very challenging.
Zoom meetings, kids would obviously put the camera on and then maybe a cardboard figure of themselves. Or the camera would be spotted towards the ceiling and you knew they were sleeping.
Oh my God. But actually, I mean, from what I understand that there was students who have told you that you were easily the most influential person in their lives.
It's kind of funny. I think what it is all about teaching is this, that if you can reach the kids, it's very tough today because most of the kids I had, 98% were minority. In fact, in a sense, I was the minority in this particular school system. Where you had 98%, which was accumulated between Black, Spanish, and Asian, and maybe 2% being white. It's not a big thing for me to adapt because I coached cross country and track in the school system up here in Massachusetts. That was predominantly minority, and I loved it. In fact, I had a choice years ago. Do I want to coach in the downtrodden community or do I want to coach in the rich community? And I coached the downtrodden because I knew that those kids would be more appreciative of what I would try to apply as far as coaching strategies go.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you.
What makes you want to raise people up, and give of yourself to that degree, to be a mentor like that? What is it within you, Gary?
I'd have to say it was just good upbringing from my mom and dad and some really, really good teachers, as well as principals that I had over the years. Now, not every teacher is good. We know that. In fact, maybe 90% of them aren't so good.
Wow.
But the principal that I had, and of course, my mom and my dad, and then one of my teachers, they always said to stick up for the weak. And that has been my philosophy forever. Right. And that's what inspired the children's book that we'll talk about in a little bit about. But that was the main incentive to me to write a book about anti-bullying.
Wow. But and also to kind of teach the qualities of teamwork and personal, like to drive yourself, like with track, yourself and which they might not have had that type of leadership.
I've always been a team player, whether I've coached or whether I ran sports or played sports. And I love creating these teams. In fact, a lot of the former athletes, when I was younger, I would come up with these teams. It'd be open competitions. And one thing that I was able to do, they said to me, is that Gary might not have been the best runner on the team, but he always came up with the best teams. And I love the teamwork concept.
Wow.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful guest that I cannot wait to hear more about, Mr. Gary Leavitt.
Yay. So, Gary, you have a specialty, which before I even get into your podcast or anything, your specialty really, really impresses me. You do voices. Now, I need to know where this came from. Like, were you a little kid that talked in tongues and then it became a talent? What's the deal with that, right?
The Wizard of Stars. Isn't that what they call you?
I love it.
Wizard of Stars, 6,667 voices. We don't want to do 4 sixes because people might misconstrue that with the 3 sixes.
I did already. I was like, Satan made him do it.
and believe it or not, my voice repertoire goes back to the time that I was living in Portland, Maine. And I went to the Hall Elementary School, and the teachers would actually ask me to come into the teacher's room at lunchtime to do voice impressions.
I love that.
I started in the 3rd grade of school doing that.
Well, now you had mentioned Massachusetts. You're in Boston, correct? Or in the Boston area?
I am about 9 to 10 miles north of Boston in the toxic water capital of Massachusetts, Woburn.
I always pronounced it Woburn because I know it. But it's Woburn. I've been saying it wrong.
No, that's okay. They call it the Woo, but you guys probably remember the movie Civil Action.
Whoa.
Exactly. Well, the movie Civil Action, which starred John Travolta and Robert Duvall, they actually filmed that here in Woburn because it was all about the toxic water.
Wow. So you're a Red Sox fan?
Red Sox fan, but I don't hate the Yankees. I do not hate the Yankees.
No, don't hate the Yankees. That's our home team.
No, I appreciate all baseballs.
And believe it or not, and I also appreciate the Red Sox. And my father is actually a big Red Sox fan.
Well, it's a great rivalry, and I know a lot of people up here say the Yankees. You know what? I won't use that word because I don't know what words I can get away with.
We hear it down here about the Red Sox too. So
same deal. But if you appreciate good baseball and it's competitive,
right,
and they continually put up the numbers, then that's the Red Sox, and that's the Yankees.
Those are the 2 teams that do it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Confession: I have no interest in baseball. It's the Cats. However, the only reason I watch, I like to see the way they look in their uniforms.
Oh, they are.
So does Tim. That's why.
Tight shirts and the tight pants and stuff. I'm gay, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but
well, I was going to tell you, I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of a tidbit about professional baseball in the major leagues that you may not have known.
Okay.
Do you know what the #1 PED is in Major League Baseball?
What's the PED, first of all?
Performance enhancement.
A drug.
Okay, thank you.
It's not really a steroid, but it's a form of a steroid. It's actually Viagra. Because it's not detected as a steroid, and it still can enhance the blood flow, as we know. And if you look, when a ball player is at the plate, he's always adjusting his package.
Wow.
Exactly. So I think that explains the Viagra, Tim.
And here I thought it was the bat hitting the ball the whole time.
Well, it was his bat. It was his bat. It was his Louisville. It was his Louisville Slugger.
Well, now you've also interviewed, you and your brother Keith Leavitt have interviewed a lot of sports figures and music and entertainment.
We certainly have Hollywood, sports, music. Out of the athletes, my all-time favorite athlete, we had an opportunity to interview, and you know him down in New York pretty well because he started his basketball career with the New York Nets out on Long Island. A gentleman by the name of Dr. J. Julius Erving.
Sure. I know that. Right. Cool.
And so he's my favorite, but I'd have to say the best interview that I've done, and we've had some really nice people. I mean, some super, super nice people from Hollywood. Some are clunkers, and the interviews don't go so well because they're a little boring. But the one that was the warmest and just the most entertaining was with Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie.
And that's why, hold on.
You did it. You kind of look like her. Let's see your midriff.
Yes, she does.
I always get, when I have my hair and my lashes, I always get Barbara Eden, a younger version of Barbara Eden. I love her too. She's great.
I met her a few years ago. Just the nicest, sweetest, most charming woman. And she's gorgeous. She's like 80 something and looks incredible.
She is. She's now 90. She just turned 90. She turned 90. She sounds like she's in her 20s, and she's a sweetheart. She's like, the best way to describe Barbara Eden would be to say she's got this warmness, this coziness that you want to hang out with, and not in a sexual way, but in a way it was like she has this tranquil delivery, and you say, wow, this lady's just so cool.
Yeah, very sweet, very
sounds
charming.
like
Yeah.
very zen in her sensibility.
Yes. So
it
much
must
so.
have been all that time in the bottle.
Well, I did say that. At the end of the interview that we did with her, I was trying not to be dirty at all, and I kept it clean. But at the very end of the interview, I said that I'm willing to bet, whether you're age 5 or 95 and anywhere in between, every single guy out there in America would like to spend at least 1 hour in the bottle with you.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful guest, the one and only Gary Leavitt.
The one and only Gary Leavitt.
Now, so I wanted to take a little bit of time, and I want to hear some of these impressions.
Yeah.
Mr. Wizard of Stars.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You can shoot some at me, and I'll do them. And
I want Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. Yeah.
Okay. How you doing? This is Al Pacino. And I'll tell you, I happen to like Wendy Stuart. Hoo-wah!
I love that.
That's great. Jack Nicholson.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. They were giving me 10,000 balls a day, and I'm hot to trot. Any women out there want to take me on? I got to light you up like a pinball machine, and you're going to pay off in silver dollars.
Oh my God. Sean Connery.
Yes.
Yes. My name is Sean Connery. I'm 89 years old. And I'll tell you what, it's been a while since I've used my 007. So I went out and I got that little blue pill. You know the little blue pill? Well, I took it. And guess what happened, Wendy? It's now again pushy galore.
I'm so happy it worked for you.
You like the Terminator.
I'll
Terminator.
tell you what, I'm going to take Tim, and I'm going to make him the man that he wants to be. I can tell that he's got the triceps and the biceps. And look at the laps on that man. Come on, Tim. Look at harder, wicked harder. But actually, Tim, I understand that you wanted to talk to my friend Sly. Sly, come on in. Remember one thing, Tim. It's not how hard you hit. It's how hard you get hit and keep on moving forward.
Oh, my God. James Earl Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so quick story on James Earl Jones.
Yes,
and the next black gentleman that I'll do after him. I actually have auditioned 5 times for 5 different voiceovers against an all-black lineup as far as people that were auditioning for these roles. And on each occasion, I got the role. And they went up to the people that were actually picking and choosing for the role. And they say, what's the deal? Do you have to bring him in every time? But we'll give you James Earl Jones, a little Darth Vader. And then, of course, from one of my favorite movies, Field of Dreams. So here we go. Young Skywalker, I see that Obi-Wan has taught you well. They will come, Ray. Baseball has been the one constant in time. They most definitely will come.
Yeah.
My name is Morgan Freeman. Get busy living or get busy dying. Goddamn right.
Love.
Those are, do you do any women?
I do Marge Simpson.
Yes, bring it on. Bring it on.
All right, I'll tell you what. We'll do. Do you mind if I do a few Simpsons characters and we'll get into Marge?
No,
How's that?
Better yet. Better.
All right.
Better yet.
Here we go. We'll start out with the one that everybody recognizes right away. Here we go. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, boy, it's Krusty the Clown. Who is it, Villian Philo? Gee, Mr. Princess, Homer Simpson. Oh, Marge, I want to look at your goodies. Not in front of the kids, homie. Ay, caramba. How would you like a lollipop, Lisa Simpson? Whoa, little bite Simpson, dude. Hop on the magic bus. Hey, Homer. You got Homer Simpson. Where's your Messiah now, Flanders? Ugly dokley. There's a couple.
You did the whole show. Okay. I need. What is the process in your brain that allows you to,
Oh my God.
I could never do that with my brain.
Well, you know, it's kind of like a singer. They have that great ear. They're able to deliver the high note, the low note, or anywhere in between.
Amazing.
I can do lots of singing voices. I mean, I could probably do as many singing voices as anybody out there. But here's my problem. I'm not a singer. and I'll go off key. So if I do a singing voice as part of my show, it's going to be very little of that singing voice because I'm not a singer. But I can do a really good John Lennon, a really good Elvis. But again, if you're not singing in key, people they're gonna detect that and say, "Well, the voice sounded good, but he was off key."
Right.
Oh my God.
But tell me what you said you started in third grade. The teachers would entertain listening to you, that you had already been singled out for this talent. When did this talent emerge and how did you grow it?
I would say, well, again, like you said, third grade is when it started. But when we got to Peabody, Mass, is where I lived for 22 years of my life.
Peabody,
and that's another town. Yeah. They say Peabody as opposed to Peabody, like Mr. Peabody here with my pet boy Sherman. Gee, Mr. Peabody.
Oh my God, Timmy's killing us today.
But in Peabody, I continued with the voices, a lot of sports voices during that time. Got into a lot of the political voices. I do a lot of political voices. I even have a presidential rap, which I do today. I start as Biden, and it goes all the way back to JFK. But it's a little racy, so I won't do it for your audience unless you say it's too dirty.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it too.
I like to pick on people, so I'll leave Biden out for this for now because he is the president. But we'll do the ones that were president. How about that?
Okay, that's past presidents.
That fair enough? All right.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is dirty. I'm forewarning you, so you might want to get the 7-second delay bleep on this.
The censor's out.
All right, here we go. Huge. Here we go. Hey there, homie. I'm no chump. My name is Donald Trump. Obama's a pussy, and I grab some too. Make America great. That's what I'll do. Yo, mama, I'm Barack Obama. He'll do the presidential act. I go to my left. I can't go right. Now, here's my cuz, and he'll keep it real tight. What up, dog? W's in the house. No weapons of mass destruction, not even a mouse. Let me be clear, or just plain glib, Bill Clinton, he's hanging in his crib. Oh, you single ladies, keep on chilling, because Bubba Clinton is always willing. I didn't inhale, I promise you. Now, here's my bro. He'll tell you a thing or two. Read my lips, because lips don't lie. I'm Puff Daddy Bush. Not a bad guy. Here's someone who's a little bit hipper. Can I get a woo-woo for the gipper? Will, check, baby, 1, 2, 3. I'm run of the GOP. Hey, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Now JFK, and he'll finish the call. Yeah, I'm JFK, the Grandmaster Rapper. Dressed to the nines, I always look dapper. Republicans, Democrats, and independents too. It's what the presidential rap can do for you. Word.
Oh my God. It's just totally fabulous from the way you perform it to your lyrics. That's really great.
The hand gestures, the whole
everything.
Thank you. I couldn't see what you can see in the camera, so I almost felt a little too fine.
Well, you'll get to see it because this is recorded and you'll have it right after. So we want you to see what you did.
I love that. That is so incredible.
That was amazing.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing and wonderful guest, Mr. Gary Leavitt.
Yes, Gary Leavitt. My gosh.
Now, so growing up in, tell us what it was like growing up in Massachusetts, where you grew up, and your brother Keith. Tell us a little bit about Keith too.
Yeah. Sure, I definitely. Thank you for letting me do so. I have 3 brothers. There's 4 of us. Larry's the oldest.
Oh, okay.
He's an 8th degree black belt, and he's still one of the best in the area.
Wow.
I have a brother Kyle, who's 2nd. Kyle is the guy that should have played professional sports, but he found women. And when he did, he kind of put the baseball stuff to the side. He really had the talent to play Major League Baseball.
Wow.
My brother Keith, he's the youngest, although he looks the oldest. He looks like Moses with tattoos. He's a power lifter. He's 59 years of age, and he's one of the strongest kids pound for pound I've ever met in my life. He still bench presses close to 400 pounds, and there's no juice, no steroids involved.
Bless, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a very smart kid. He's a very good kid, and he is actually the one that the kids throughout Massachusetts have marveled at his teaching skills. Mine are second to his. Well, maybe even third to his, but he's a very good teacher and he's a very good brother.
Both teachers,
nice.
4 boys. Your parents raised 4 boys.
Yeah, 4 boys. We all played sports. We all
Wow.
played baseball, basketball, little football, and I'm the track. I'm the runner, obviously. So I'm the smallest of the guys. And as much as I had 2 brothers that were black belts and 1 brother that was golden gloves, guess who got in the most fights?
Because you knew your brothers would protect you.
That was part of the reason, but more often than not, true story, junior high, I know they have middle schools now, but in junior high, they used to implement some of the special needs kids into the gym classes, and a lot of those kids got picked on by the bullies. They got picked on, and I was never one not to want to step in and help out those special needs kids. So I did, and I won most of the fights, but even when I lost, I always felt like I won because I was sticking up for someone that couldn't stick up for themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. Really incredible.
Good.
And your home sounds so well balanced. You know, we hear all kinds of, everybody comes from different backgrounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you all, like the 4 boys, you played sports, you know, like a happy American family.
It really is. And the kids have done well for themselves. I have 2 nephews. One's a cop, one's a firefighter, one's a doctor. One's very successful in sales, another in marketing. And my kids, they are, and one's still in college. One of the other ones is still in college. He's a great baseball player at UMass Boston.
Excellent.
But my kids, my son is a first-year freshman at Stonehill up here in Easton, Mass. It's EASTON, not Eastern, but Easton. And I know you guys are going to make fun of my Boston accent.
No, honestly, it's not heavy. I haven't heard like a ka or anything. Yeah.
Now I'm going to do it. But my son is Division I college football player. He's a punter, and it's his first year in college, which is a lot to be said when you go in as a freshman and you're already starting.
Right.
And my daughter, country singer.
Oh, nice.
She just signed with someone that you guys know, Soho Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Oh, who's your daughter?
Yeah, her name is Renee Leavitt, and she has charted on the Southern Gospel / Positive Country. These charts. I had no previous knowledge of them, but she did a song called Walk with the Big Guy. And you can go on YouTube and you can check out Walk with the Big Guy. It's a great song, but she does predominantly country songs. But as you guys know, every single country artist out there has at least 1 or 2 gospel songs.
Yeah, you have to. It seems like, wow.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And I love the wide array. Too, I like how the family branched and such a wide array of that's so cool. That is so cool.
Well, and we cross over with my kids. My son and I, we work out together. Well, now we don't because he's gotten way bigger and way stronger than me. He says, Dad, you can't stay up with me anymore. But with my daughter, she actually co-wrote the theme song to the Charlie Horse. And it's called Friends for Life. And I'll lead that into that one for you guys.
Yes, absolutely. That's great. Perfect segue. I would expect nothing less.
Excellent.
So tell us about Charlie Horse.
Okay. So Charlie Horse was a book that I created back in 2009, to believe it exact. And here we are 13 years later. But when I created it as a book, I didn't really know what I was doing. I wrote the book. It was pretty good. It wasn't great. It certainly wasn't great, but it was pretty good. I think the concept of anti-bullying, teamwork, camaraderie, overcoming a disability, that was all there. But my writing skills were never, ever as good as my dad's or even my daughter Renee's. They were good, but not great. And on occasion, I could write great, but not consistently. That being said, we reapproached it again in the teens. And when we reapproached in the teens, I had someone else illustrate it. They got it better, but it was never to the point where that I was happy. Finally, in 2019, I said, I'm going to make this a TV show. And I want to make it a TV show. And I got someone that out of Hollywood, out of LA, to actually go in, animate, and illustrate. Now the characters are legitimately something that I can hang my hat on. Nice. It's truly great. I then wrote the first script for the first episode. I sat back and I read it and I go, you know what? This is like a 6 or a 7 at best. True story. I said to my daughter, Renee, you're a better writer than I am. Give it a shot. I'm not saying that you're going to have to get a 10. I says, if you can get it up to an 8, that'd be more than acceptable. She got it to a 10. She got it to a 10. The first
course.
episode, the first script is at a 10 level. I'll put it up against anything that I've ever seen in animation. And my goal for Charlie Horse as an animation is to make it the most inspirational character of all time in animation. We have had the entertaining cartoon characters. We've had Warner Brothers, Hanna-Barbera, the SpongeBobs, the Family Guys, the Simpsons. It's all fun. It's entertaining. Some of it's racy. Some of it's a little offensive. Charlie Horse is not going to be offensive.
Right.
The stories are meant to inspire young kids, ages 2 to 6, but also to get their parents, their older siblings, and maybe a grandparent or uncle or an aunt to actually sit there on the couch with them and watch an 8 to 10 minute episode. And when the show's done, they say, wow, that was great. And then the goal is to make them to go to the internet and be educated a little bit on how they can interact with the characters of Charlie Horse.
Absolutely. And we need more of this. We really do. We need more of this inspiring stories. Now, thank you again. You're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful guest, Mr. Gary Leavitt.
Thank you.
So Gary, I wanted to ask you, how was Charlie Horse born? Why a horse to bring to light bullying and disabilities?
Well, that's a great question. It really, really is. Now, I alluded to earlier about my dad saying, stick up for the weak. I took that element of what took place in junior high with the special needs kids. I've seen bullying at all levels. I've seen it in the workplace. I've seen it with teachers on students. I've seen it student to student. I've even seen it with parents to their kids, which is crazy, but that's what this world is made up of. Not everybody's bad. I'm not saying everybody's bad. I'm just saying there is a lot of badness out there. And I think we have to focus some of the attention on that badness. So what I was attempting to do with Charlie Horse is to enlighten people about the daily trials and tribulation of someone that might be disabled. And the name Charlie Horse, as you guys know, when you get a Charlie Horse from a sports injury, you're walking with a limp. So that's a good name. That's a good start. I came up with that right away. That's a good start. And I always like the look of the horses in different people's opinions. You know, you've had My Little Pony, and then you had the ones that were, I love the TV show Bonanza, and Little Joe had the best horse, by the way. He really did. To this day, Little Joe's horse is my favorite of all horses.
And don't forget Mr. Ed.
Hello, this is Mr. Ed Wilbur.
I knew you could do it. Thank you, Gary.
But horses are just so majestic. And then I love Charlie Horse, which makes you
great word. I have to say, you great word, Tim. Majestic. I love that word.
But also a leg, or a horse's leg, is one of the most vulnerable. If their leg gets hurt, then a lot of times you have to put them down.
Right, so that's a good point.
Of having Charlie Horse being a horse with a disability, can you maybe tell what his disability is or how he got it?
Sure, I'll give you a little bit of it, but we'll leave the people hanging for more or wanting for more. Is that okay? Okay, I'm following your lead on this, Tim. I know you know your stuff. And by the way, before I do tell you guys, I have to say that you two are the consummate professionals. You're really very good at what you do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. And we also love what we do, and we love meeting people. That's what it's about. And we love to get to like the nitty gritty of who they. I love that you wrote this book. You know, that you were sensitive and aware enough to do this as a human being.
And it's nice to you guys are easy on the eye. That's another thing. And the way that you articulate, this is fun because I get to work with people that make it easy on the guys like me. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. But Charlie Horse, as far as the book and now in TV, we have a sizzle reel. We're hoping that it's going to get on TV. We're obviously looking for people to get involved. We've got a guy by the name of Jack O'Halloran, who's good friends, I think, with at least Eileen Shapiro, a friend of yours. And Jack, of course, starred in Superman 2 as the non-speaking villain.
That's where I know the name from.
Yes. So he's a part of Charlie Horse. He's helping the cause, and he's trying to put it in the right hands for us. But with Charlie Horse, first episode, rewritten by my daughter, Renee Leavitt, it basically, the snippet of that particular show is that Charlie, when a very young pony is out in the valley with other horses and they're just wandering about, and Charlie hears a cry from the woods. He goes to the leader of the horses, the one that's at the front of the line, tells him about it, and he says, come on, Charlie, just get back in line. Let's go. Well, a couple more times, he goes to the front of the line and says, I am hearing the cries even louder. And the horses proceed to just keep going. Charlie stops. He goes closer to the woods. As he heads closer to the woods, he happens to see smoke and fire and the cries getting louder. Oh, no. And as they get louder and he moves through the woods and he's going under the smoke and climbing over branches that have fallen, he finally comes to a clearing. And in the clearing, there's a big boulder. And next to the boulder is a baby bear. Oh, and the baby bear is crying because his parents are nowhere to be found. Charlie, being the brave horse from the get-go, actually puts the baby bear on his back, and a timber cracks from the fire, comes down, hits Charlie in his leg, and now he's limping, and he can barely get out of the woods. But he's smart, too. All kinds of wisdom. He heads to the river. They wait in the river, and there was not a big, strong current going on. Waits in the river till the fire goes away. Takes the baby bear. They head back into the woods. They find the baby bear's parents. The mom says to Charlie, she said to the little baby bear, by the way, the baby bear's name is Gary, just so you know.
Gary the baby bear.
So Gary the baby bear looks at Charlie, and the mom says, remember his face. You will see him again, and you will be friends for life. So later on in the story, we won't tell the whole story. I'm not going to do that because we want those people to watch that first episode.
Find each other again.
Yeah, they will find each other again, and it's a great ending. And again, that whole title of Friends for Life is so significant and so prevalent throughout that story. Right. And that's what I'm going to try to do with every single episode. There will be a lesson to be learned.
A lesson, yes.
The bravery, the camaraderie, the wisdom, the teamwork, and the whole anti-bullying theme.
I love that. That is so wonderful. And all coming together. It's all coming together.
So, that's so beautiful, and really raising awareness through that. I don't know, Gary, if you're familiar, but Soho Johnny has a whole anti-bullying campaign. And I don't know how familiar he is with the book, but I suggest you totally reach out, because we've been to some of his fundraisers for anti-bullying. He's done both online ones and live. That is a very big platform.
Absolutely. And thank you again, everyone, for tuning in to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing guest, Mr. Gary Leavitt.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Now, I want to touch base real quick on your podcast. Tell us a little about your podcast, and then I think I'm going to have you take us out in a new, fresh, and original way.
I will do that. I certainly will. I'll tell you what. So it's called Gary Leavitt and Friends, and on every Wednesday night, which is tonight, it's a radio show up here in Boston on 95.9 WATD FM, which you can also stream it live online at 959watd.com. Now, my guests for tonight include John Provo, who played Timmy from Lassie. And I also have...
Oh my God. Really?
I have Tony. I'm going to mispronounce his last name, but he was in the movie The Wanderers, and he was also in the movie Porky's, and his nickname in Porky's was Meat, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
The Porky. I love that you have Timmy from Lassie, and then you have the guy from the
Meat from Porky's.
And my third guest, the final guest, which is the headlining guest for tonight, you know him well. It's going to be Soho Johnny.
Yeah. Love Soho Johnny. Yes, absolutely.
Looking forward to that. That guy is magnificent. I got to work with him, and he's just fun to be around.
How can people find out more about you?
Okay, so they can go online, or Facebook is the best place. I do have websites, but I'm more active on the Facebook stuff. So it would be Gary Leavitt and Friends, which is the radio station Facebook page, or just Gary Leavitt. I do personal stuff. I tend to become a social media whore. I'm promoting. That's what you guys do. We brand.
Have to.
Well, Gary Leavitt, I thank you so very much for, again, jumping in at the last minute. That was so cool of you. We're so grateful.
Right.
And can you take us out with maybe a little SpongeBob and a little Family Guy, maybe Stewie from Family
All right, here we go. All right. Hey, Mr. Crab. How about a Krabby Patty? Oh, great. It's SpongeBob with his buddy Jim and Wendy. Buddy's voice, back to rec. Hey, SpongeBob, I wonder if they got any Krabby Patties.
Oh my God, you freaking
Now, Frank Quagmire, stop violating Wendy. Giggity, 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 giggity. Hey, Brian, you got my money? What about my money? Yeah, I think Tim has your money.
Oh my God, too funny.
The one and only Gary Leavitt. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hooray.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and that would conclude the actual broadcast, the television broadcast. So now we could just chat for a little while.
Excellent.
How about that?
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Oh my God, those voices. Oh my God, that's hysterical. And how you switch so quick.
It's a lot of fun doing it. It's kind of fun. We've punked many people over the years. When I worked in my early days of radio, we picked on both the right and the left, because if you pick on one side, you'll lose the other side. Yeah. So we've picked on Bob Dole. I don't know if you remember when he ran for president.
Yeah.
And remember, he was the national spokesperson for Viagra. Do you remember that?
Oh my God. Now I do, though, because you brought it up.
So we did a fake commercial, and see if you guys like this one. We're not on the air, right?
Yeah, we are.
This is still on the air, but this is not going to be televised. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm Bob Dole. I'm here to tell you about Viagra. Bob Dole may have lost the election, but Bob Dole got the erection.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
We punked the governor of New Hampshire. We also got Hillary Clinton, and probably the best one of them. I mean, we even got a couple of Boston Red Sox believing that I was actually the manager, Joe Morgan, which was pretty cool.
They thought you were the real deal.
They thought I was the real one. And see, Roger Clemens was the ace for the Red Sox back in the day. And there was a guy that was barely on the roster named Rob Murphy. We got his phone number. We called him up. I said that I was Joe Morgan, and I told him I was putting him into the starting rotation and taking Roger out.
And he believed it. Oh my gosh, that's great.
And one of my fictional, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the guy that was on the Lamb here from Boston, the mobster Whitey Bulger.
Of course. Are you kidding? Of course.
So one of the fictional characters that I did up here in Boston was a Louis from East Boston. We called the Mercedes-Benz headquarters in D.C. or outside of D.C. And Louis from East Boston voice was similar to, what's his name, Tony Soprano. But Louis came out before Tony Soprano came out. True story. So anyways, we called down to Mercedes-Benz in D.C. and I get one of the salespeople on the line and one of the head people, and I go, hey, I'm thinking of getting a Mercedes-Benz, but I got to make sure it's got everything that I need. And he goes, go ahead. Tell me what you need. Well, first of all, I want to know if it comes with bulletproof windows. And then I go on and I go, the next thing, I got to know how big is the glove compartment. I want to know what size gun I can fit inside it.
Oh my God! What is the person on the other end? Come on, you got to tell us the reactions.
And at the end, this is where it gets good. I go, okay, one more question. How big is the trunk of the car? He goes, what? The trunk of the car. You know, put that Boston accent there. Then he goes, right. I don't know. I goes, well, can I fit 3 bodies in there? And he goes, what? And so he goes, who is this? And I go, this is Whitey Bulger. You may have heard of me. And he goes, and this is before Whitey went on the Lamb, by the way. And he goes, no, I can't say I ever have. I says, well, you will soon, pal. You will soon. And then it's not even a week, 2 weeks later, Whitey Bulger's all over the papers. True story.
Oh my God. I wonder what this person thought. I wish I had been the fly on the wall there.
Yeah, exactly. You could tell he was a little scared. As the conversation went along, he was very apprehensive. Very apprehensive.
Well, I need a big trunk for 3 bodies.
Great. Exactly. We had fun with a lot of the things we did. We weren't vicious. We weren't vindictive. We had. This is a good story. I'll tell you the story.
We love good stories. Keep going.
This was in the studio. This was the old WCGY, which was owned by Kurt Gowdy. Kurt, of course, was a Red Sox play-by-play, and he actually announced the play that Franco Harris made when he made the Immaculate Reception. So he was national announcer too. But we're in the studio, and on this particular wintry, snowy day, we had a contest for Pink Floyd tickets. You had to come in, get in your underwear, do snow angels in the snow outside the studios, and you would win tickets to Pink Floyd at the Boston Garden, along with the limo and dinner and everything. So at the same day, we also had Skippy, I forget the comedian actor's name, from Family Ties. He was there in the studio with us. And he was doing most of the talking. And when we had celebrities in the studio like that, I took a back seat and just yielded to whoever it was that came in. On this particular day, he's in the studio, the main guy, a couple of the other guys, and then we invite people to come in to do the snow angels. Only 2 people show up. It's a guy and a woman. The guy is an out-of-work landscaper because obviously it's winters here. You're not doing much for landscaping. The woman, when she comes in, I'm looking at her and I go, I know this lady, and I just didn't know where I knew her. Now, Lawrence is famous for its women of the night, so to speak.
Got it.
I used to stop at the White Hen Pantry on the way into the studio every single day. I'd get the little Debbie cakes.
Little Debbie cakes, yes.
And a very, very fine grape drink, which they don't make anymore, unfortunately. So we're in the studio. I'm hush-hush the whole time. I'm listening to him interview. And then they're interviewing the couple. And Mike Moran, the main guy, the morning show host, and I was his sidekick. He says to the woman, he says, your name is Hope? And she says, yes. He goes, what do you do for a living? And she came up with some cockamamie story. And I hadn't said a darn thing all morning. And I go, no, you're not. I says, you're a hooker. and she had a cleft lip, by the way. And she goes, no, I'm not. And I go, yeah, you are. You're one of those ladies that's down at the White Hen Pantry looking for me to take you to the mall at 5 o'clock every morning. That's what they asked. They wanted to go to the mall. Can you take me to the mall? And that's their signal for prostitution. I had no clue. Needless to say,
take me to the mall means like take me to bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tim, would you ever? My God, go figure.
Oh, honey, I would have just dropped him off at Brooks Brothers or something.
So right after I said she was a hooker and she tried to deny it, Skippy from Family Ties, without missing a beat, he says, "Hey, Faith or Hope, whatever your name is." He goes, have you ever had Skippy stuck to the roof? Oh
my God.
And it was like the laughter just kept going and going. So for a brief 30, 60 seconds of radio, whatever it was as funny and as live as it could have been. There was nothing prepared. And I would be the Fridays with Gary's stories. This was before I was married and I had better stories. When I got married, the stories weren't as good, but
it got watered down once you got married.
Yeah, the stories early on in my life are pretty wacky though, and the people that I had.
I've got one for you. Have you had any like crazy guests come on that like it got crazy and you didn't know what to do?
Yes, I won't name names because you may know them. But they swear, they talk dirty, they're belligerent, and
you had someone belligerent. So how do you handle someone that's like out of control like that?
You let them hang themselves. you don't go at it with them. You know, head to head. You let them blurt it out, and for something. If you would just go, someone was going on a tirade, say, "Well, okay, geez, now I know how you really felt."
Right.
And just leave it at that. I had one guy that used to pitch for the Red Sox and the St. Louis Cardinals, and I'll tell you his name, John Tudor. He basically was so belligerent with my brother Keith. Now, my brother Keith is so knowledgeable on sports, and he knew everything there was to know about John Tudor. Now, Tudor was a great pitcher for a short while in the major leagues. He was really good, but he was just throwing one condescending comment after another at my brother Keith. And Keith wasn't taking kindly to it. He handled it in a different way than I did. He says, well, John, he says, you got to know something. We have the address of where you live down south. And he says, if you want me to come down and we can hang out together. He didn't say he was going to beat him up, just we were going to hang out together.
We'll have a beer. That is brilliant.
Exactly. And that's
very Boston.
Yeah.
It is. I'll come over. We'll hang out. How about that?
Yeah, we'll hang out. And that's all you say. You don't say that I'm going to beat you up or let's step into the ring. It's just like, we're going to hang out for a while.
How funny.
Well, we have a couple of comments here.
Yeah,
Nick Lyon is on. Oh, he says, don't forget to invite everyone to Ike's 50 Shades of Gay.
Right.
Making a splashy debut at the legendary Copa with Tim, me, and you, Wendy, hosting.
Yes. So let's do that. Let's do
Friday, October 14th, I think, right?
Yeah. At the Copa in New York.
Yes.
Okay. Can I promote that in a celebrity voice?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's think of who we didn't hear from here today.
Trini Lopez, the Copa. Ricky Ricardo. Babalu.
So what is the name? What is the name of the organization?
50 Shades of Gay.
It's called 50 Shades of Gay.
50 Shades of
instead of 50 Shades of Gray, which was a
yes, and 50 Shades of Gay. Okay. All right.
It's a variety show. It's a very campy, very fun variety show. We take it around the country, actually. Ike and I do.
Well, when you take it up here to Boston, I want you guys to come in the studio and I'm going to promote you. How's that sound?
Absolutely.
I would love that. And I want front row seats, though.
Okay, you got it.
And if it's crowd interaction and you have to make fun of me, that's okay. I'm open game.
Well, it can be a little dangerous because we bring people up on stage too. So
I'm good with that. I love it. I love
games. You like games, Gary?
I do. Crowd participation. Count me in.
Gary likes games.
Oh God. Well, I so appreciate your coming on again. This was great. It was so great meeting you, Gary.
Okay, so we'll give you a Porky Pig on the way out for 50 Shades.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
Oh, fucking 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my God!
Don't go anywhere. After the show, we'll have a quick goodbye. Okay.
All right, guys, you're awesome. Thank you.
Wave.
Thank you, everybody.